Hey guys, what is up? It's Sasuke back here again to make another video. I know it's been a while. I've had to deal with school, graduation, family stuff, but I'm here to make another video. I was going to record this 2 days ago, but I had some problems with my phone, which I got done. And today, we are making a video on my first ever commander, Queen Marchesa. Is a 3/3 that costs 1, a red, a white, and a black. As Death Touch and Haste, when she enters the battlefield, I become the Monarch, which is this. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the Monarch. Then, at the beginning of my upkeep, if an opponent is the Monarch, play a 1/1 black assassin, a creature. 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste on through the battlefield. It's basically just a smaller Marchesa. Alright, here is all the lands. This is 40 cards, mix of plains, mountains, swamps, and cards that do more than one of them. I do have some Kamigawa lands, which are these really cool Japanese art. I got 1 swamp, 3 plains, 2 mountains. Alright. Next we have Planeswalkers. Here is Spariski. Is loyalty counter of 3. Cost 1 and 2 white. And its +1 ability is play a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. -2. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Then its ultimate, aka is -6. You get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then play a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Second Planeswalker, Gideon of the Trials, has the same loyalty counter and costs the same as Barris. As +1 is until your next turn, prevent all damage target permanent would deal. Sorry, I'm shaking. I'm doing this with my phone and I have to eat soon. 0 until end of turn, Gideon becomes a 4/4 human soldier creature with indestructible. That's still a Planeswalker. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. Second 0, you get an emblem with as long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker, I can't lose the game and opponents can't win the game. Next, we have regular creatures. First one up is Redon, God of the Worthy. 2/3 that costs 2 and a white with Flying Vigilance. Snowlands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. Non-creature spells your opponent's cast with converted mana cost 4 or greater costs 2 more to cast. Then I can pay the other side, which is 3 and a white, to get Volcamera, Protector Shield. It is a legendary artifact. If a source an opponent controls will deal damage to you or a permanent you control, prevent 1 of that damage. Whenever you or another permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless the controller pays 1. So basically it has ward 1. Next is Sunblade Samurai, a 4/4 that costs 4 and a white with Vigilance and Channel. I can pay 2, discard it, search for a basic plains, reveal it, put it into my hand, shuffle my library, gain 2 life. Skyblessed Samurai, a 4/4 that costs 6 and a white. This spell costs 1 less for each enchantment you control and has flying. Jaro Exemplar, a 2/1 that costs 1 and white. Whenever a Samurai warrior you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I have a lot of these whenever a Samurai warrior attacks alone effects, so get used to that, this deck. Torre de Vent Fury Rider, a 3/3 that costs 1, 2 red, and a white with Vigilance and Trample. Whenever it attacks, all other attacking creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Red creatures I control gain Trample, and white creatures get untapped. Aki Ronin, a 1/3 that costs 1 and a red, and whenever a Samurai warrior attacks alone, I can discard a card. If I do, draw a card. Yaiko Yamazaki the General, a 3/3 that costs 3 and a red with Trample, and whenever a Samurai warrior attacks alone, I may cast target artifact card from my graveyard this turn. When Tona joined our forces, this is one of the 2 best cards in the main deck. It is a 4/4 that costs 2 red and white. And whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. And it's indestructible until the turn. Put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library in any order. Noriaki Yamazaki the Poet, a 3/2 that costs 2 and a white. Vigilance, and whenever a Samurai Warrior control attacks on, I can cast a enchantment card from my graveyard this turn. Pardon me. Plarg, Dean of Chaos is a 2/2 that costs 1 and a red. I can discard a card, tap it, discard a card, draw a card. Pay 4 and a red, tap, reveal cards from the top of my library until I reveal a non-legendary, non-land card with mana value 3 or less. I may cast that card without paying its mana cost, put all revealed cards not cast this way on the bottom of my library in any order. Aurelius Vindicator, a 4/2 that costs 2 and 2 white. As Flying Lifelink Ward 2. As Disguise X, 3 and a white. So basically, I can pay 3, have this become face down, and have it become a 2/2 with Ward. Pay the disguise cost to put this upright like this. When it's turned face up, exile up to X other target creatures from the battlefield and or creature cards from graveyards. And when Aurelia leaves the battlefield, return the exile cards to their owner's hand. Selfless Samurai, a 2/2 that costs 1 in white. Whenever a Samurai Warrior attacks alone, it gets lifelink until end of turn. Then I can sacrifice Selfless Samurai. Another target creature I control gains indestructible until end of turn. Would I use Storm's Edge? The other great combo piece in this deck is a 3/3 that costs 2, a red, and a white. Has first strike. Whenever a Samurai Warrior I control attacks alone, untap it. If this is the first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase after it. General Korudo of Danrith, a 3/3 that costs 1, a white, and a black. Other humans I control get +1/+1. Whenever the general or another human enters the battlefield under my control, exile a target card from an opponent's graveyard. Then I can tap 2, sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Peerless Samurai, a 2/3 that costs 2 and a white, 2 and a red, my bad. With Menace, where a Samurai Warrior I control attacks alone, the next spell I cast this turn would cost 1 less to cast. Asari Captain, a 4/3 that costs 3, a red, and a white. Has haste whenever a Samurai Warrior I control attacks alone. It gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each Samurai Warrior I control. Izumi Blade Blesser, 3/2 that costs 2 and a black. It's Death Touch as long as I control an artifact, and is Menace as long as I control an enchantment. Seven Tail Mentor, a 2/3 that costs 3 and a white. When it enters the battlefield or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Reinforced Ronin, a 2/2 that costs 1 red as haste. At the beginning of your end step, return Reinforced Ronin to the hand, to its owner's hand. Channel, 1 and a red, discard it, draw a card. Rasona Asari Commander, a 3/3 that costs 1, a red, and a white with haste. If it deals combat damage to a player, gains an indestructible counter on it if it doesn't already. Whenever combat damage is dealt to me, I remove an indestructible counter from Rasona. Oros, God of Victory. 7/4 that costs 2, a red, and a white as indestructible. It isn't a creature, so that's my devotion, aka colored mana, is less than 7, red or white. Creatures I control have menace, prevent all damage that be dealt to attacking creatures I control. Kalandama, Disciple of Oros, a 3/3 that costs 2, a red, and a white. Double Strike, Vigilance. Whenever I cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater, it gets an experience counter, and they get experience +1/+1 counter over each experience counter it has. Poise Practitioner, a 2/3 that costs 2 and a white. It has Flurry. Whenever I cast my second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Scry 1, look at the top card of my library, put it on the top or bottom. Usher of the Fallen, a 2/1 that costs 1 white. It has Buzz for 1 and a white. Create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Activate only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Imperial Subduer, a 3/2 that costs 2 and a white. Whenever a samurai warrior control attacks alone, tap target creature I don't control. Goro, Disciple of Ryusei, a 2/2 that costs 1 on a red. I can pay a red. Creatures gain haste until end of turn that I control. Then I can pay 3 and 2 red, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if I control an attacking modified creature. So basically like an equipment, auras, stuff like that. Like anything that gives counters basically could work. Now we're going to the enchantments. Shattered States Era is a saga. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it against haste until end of this turn. Saga 2, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Then 3, exile the saga, then return to the battlefield transformed under your control. It becomes a 3/3 with haste. My favorite card in this deck, Hissing Miasma, cost 1 and 2 black. Shattered States Era cost 4 and a red. I forgot to say that. Whenever a creature attacks you, its controller loses 1 life, so this punishes attack decks. Life of Toshiro Umezawa costs 1 a black. First 2 sagas, choose 1. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Target creature gets +(-1/-1) until end of turn, or I gain 2 life. I can then exile it, transform it to a 2/3 that has some effects onto the battlefield under my control. Paladin class. This is a class enchantment. I can pay it for 1, and then as level 1, spells your opponent casts during your turn cost 1 more to cast. Then I can pay 2 and a white to get level 2. Creatures I control get +1/+1. Then I can pay 4 and a white to get level 3, and whenever I attack until end of turn, target attacking creature gets +1/+1 for each other attacking creature and gains double strike. Honor the Pure, 1 and a white creatures you control get +1/+1. Pretty simple. Kumino faces Kakazan, 1 red mana. Deals 1 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control. Then when you cast your next creature spell this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Then I can exile it, return it to battlefield to transfer it into my control as a 2/2 with haste. Deafening Silence, 1 mana. Each player can cast more than 1 non-creature spell each turn. Footfall Crater, 1 red mana. Enchantland. Enchantland has tap. Target creature gains trample and haste until end of turn. Cycling 1, I can pay 1, discard it, draw a card. Then, Itsugaya Consumes All. For 1, a black and a red. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. 2, exile all graveyards. 3, exile this saga, then return to the battlefield, transformed under your control. It becomes a 3/3, and a really cool effect. It's trample. Whenever it deals damage, put +1/+1 counter on it. Whenever it deals damage to a player, if it has dealt 10 or more to that player this turn, they instantly lose the game. Alright, now we have artifacts. Boros Ingot, pay 2 of any color. Then I can pay 1 of any color, tap, add a red and a white. Orov's Ingot, same thing as Boros, but it adds a black instead of red. Commander Sphere, pay 3, tap it, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. So basically, in this deck can give me a red, white, or a black. Then I can sacrifice it to draw a card. Ancestral Katana, costs 1 and a white. Is a equipment. Whenever a samurai warrior control attacks alone, may pay 1. When I do attach ancestral katana to it, equipped creature gets +2 +1, and it has equipped 3 if you don't want to do the attacking one. Soul Ring, pretty classic commander staple. Pay 1 mana, tap it, add 2 colorless to your mana pool. Arcane Signet, another classic. Pay 2, tap 1, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. So basically just a cheaper commander sphere that you can't sacrifice to draw a card. Enormous Energy Blade, costs 2, black. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. Whenever it becomes attached to a creature, tap that creature. Then equip 2. Alright. Stupid knuckles. My hand is starting to hurt as well. I need a better way to record my instances. My bad. I can't speak that well. Fracture. A white and a black. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. Dire Tactus. Same mana as Fracture. Exile a target creature. If I don't control a human, I lose life equal to that creature's toughness, but I have a lot of those in this deck. Silent Spoiling, 1 and 2 black. Split second. Deathy can react to this. As long as they're not mana abilities. So, if they can't pay mana to do an ability, they can't do crap to respond to this. Till end of turn, target players lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 0-2. Write down, red and a white, destroy target blocking creature. Creatures that were blocked by that creature this combat gain tremble until end of turn. Terminate, red and a black, destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated, means it can't be brought back. Cinderclasm, 1 and a red with kicker 1. Deals 1 damage to each creature. If it was kicked, it deals 2 damage to each creature instead. Like the way 1 mana, I can either put a +1/+1 counter on creature or vehicle, untap it, or return target permanent I control to my hand. Wanderer's Intervention, costs 1 and a white. Deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Elisha's Legacy, 1 and a black. Target creature you control gains stat touch and indestructible until end of turn. Seismic Wave, 2 and a red, and it deals 2 damage to any target and 1 damage to each non-artifact creature target opponent controls. And last but not least, my sorceries. Icrag Feet, 1 and 3 red. Add 7 mana to your mana pool. I can cast only 1 more spell this turn. Ganjo Uprising. X, red and white. Create X, 2/2 white samurai creature tokens. Vigilance, they gain menace and haste until end of turn. Each opponent creates that many -1 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. Banishing Slash, destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or tapped creature. Then, if I control an artifact and an enchantment, may create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. And Wake to the Slaughter, 3 black and a red. Choose up to 2 target creature cards in your graveyard, and an opponent chooses one of them, return that card to your hand, return the other to the battlefield under your control. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step, then flash back for 1 more colorless. And last but not least, Coronation of Chaos. Costs 2 and a red, and I can target up to 3 target creatures can't block this turn and goad them, meaning they can't attack me next turn and have to attack if able. Alright, as the last of it, this is my Marchesa deck. Let me know how you guys think this goes and how well you think it is. I won a lot of battles with this deck, games, I would say, not battles, because I only play with friends or people I know. So, yeah, let me know what you think of this deck.